There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, what's up and welcome into episode number 60 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Ryan Tyson, Mark Hall, Matt Gann, Patrick Hertzberger. Today is Wednesday, March 1st. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Trying to hit 1,500 subs by the end of the week. That would be massive for us. Keep on helping us out. Cost you $0 to subscribe to the channel. Helps us out more than you know. You can follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, our Instagram, Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, that's where you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of that good stuff. Gentlemen, how we doing? Patrick Hertzberger, we'll start with you. How are you doing in Cali?
Doing great, man. The Tennessee Volunteer basketball game is tonight at 6-hour time, so I'll be headed to a bar to watch with friends.
Fun. Matt Gann, welcome back to the show.
Good to be back with you, fellows. Thanks for having me.
So, Matt, I wanted to ask you what you thought about our combo last week. Do you have any thoughts?
No, I do not. No thoughts at this time. I appreciate you asking, though.
Do you know what we talked about?
All sorts of things. I checked the outline. I just hadn't gotten to it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys had a great conversation.
Did you like Patrick's recap of your segment?
Like I said, I hadn't got to it. I've seen the outline, but I'm sure you guys did a really good job with it. So,
Gotta love that.
We sure did. We did, and you know.
yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Life gets in the way. I've had some other issues I got to deal with, and I love you guys. I know you guys can handle it. I'm sure it was a great podcast, and I know you guys, without me, it was 100%. So I'm proud of you guys. Keep up the good work. I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Ryan, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm doing okay, man. I'm a little tired, but you know,
Awesome to hear.
That's me every day nowadays. So
Yeah.
what's new?
I get it. Mark Hall?
Yeah, I mean, I can second everything that Ryan said about being tired all the time. I can't second anything that Matt Gann said just because,
Yeah. It's fine.
I've got the ick. I've got a little bit of the ick there.
Yeah, it's fine.
So,
On a lighter note, 30 days away from marrying my beautiful bride. I'm very, very close. We are in the final countdown, the
You're
month
so excited.
of the wedding. It's going to be lit. All the boys will be there. Be a great time. Comment
I
down
thought
below.
you were going to say,
Comment down
Sorry,
below
I
if you want to come to the wedding. You know, why not? We'll figure it
That's
out.
a bad idea.
I got to pause you.
Don't
real
leave
fast.
that. Don't
You're-
leave that option open.
Yeah.
Well, you tend to also drop like personal details every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
Mason, like,
Yeah.
oh, in 30 days I'm getting married, and like pause there. You know,
Yeah.
don't
tell 'em
give
where
out
it is.
Yeah.
any more
Oh yeah.
than that.
Trust me, I have
Um,
been told by multiple people that I am way too open with my information. You guys are not the only ones to tell me that. So yes, I understand.
I
be
also
weird.
wonder, do we need a designated survivor at Mason's wedding? So like,
Yeah.
does Matt need to hang back
Yeah.
and leave the pod, like let it live on in case
Possibly.
someone uses Mason's information and blows us up or something? you
Yeah.
know?
Could be.
Oh, dark turn.
Yeah. Dark turn,
turn
but I
is a
get
good
it.
idea.
You know, hey, why do you have a designated survivor?
Yeah.
They have to survive.
Yeah.
Usually that's like for the president of the United States. We're talking about the four of us.
We're
Five
talking about the
of
four
us.
program guys.
We're good. Let's talk about some OU
Big
football
deal.
news. Shall we? Let's talk about some OU football news. Some recruiting news first off. We'll start with that. There's a crystal ball from Mr. Ketchum. Well, who's he with? Who's Ketchum with?
I think rivals, right?
Yeah.
Is he rivals?
Maybe rivals. It's rivals, I think.
Okay. Crystal ball, Oklahoma will get Nigel Smith the second. Is he the second or is he a junior?
He sure is.
Okay. Okay.
Patrick, give us an update.
Yeah, Pat, go ahead.
Yeah, let us
an
know about
update.
this guy, Pat.
Yeah, he's a defensive lineman, 6'5", 260 from Melissa, Texas, currently ranked as a 4-star 2024 class. And yeah, we're predicted to get him. I hope we do.
Look, man, 6'5", 260. I will never say no to a body like that, to having him on the defensive line. Absolutely not. That's good.
He's someone too that we've seen build a relationship. You know, it's weird how much of this we see online.
Yeah.
But back and forths with Miguel Chavis and stuff like that, and posting and retweets here and there. You kind of read the tea leaves, but yeah, he's been a target for a while. I'm looking at On3 right now. They've got us with a 74.9% in their recruiting prediction machine, which is cute. But you'd rather be 75 than be anyone else, right? So big deal for us. Hopefully we can lock him down. That's one close by. That's local talent. You've got to be able to compete and win.
Yep.
Mark, as a recruiting expert yourself, what's your percentage?
I'm not quite as confident as On3. You know, we don't have the bag to close in the final moments as some of these teams do. So rather than go with their 74.9, I'm going to stick with the tried and true 69% confidence that Nigel Smith ends up committing to the Oklahoma Sooners and sticking to that commitment.
You know, that 69%, it feels more than ever. It can really go both ways. You know, it's
truly,
truly,
it's hard.
No matter which way no matter what way you flip it.
But you'd rather 69 than 31.
100%.
Right? You'd rather 69 than 31.
Absolutely.
And that's just the math.
Yeah.
Do we just need to, leave you guys to this for the next 5 minutes?
Nah, we're okay.
You could.
The fact that you think I need 5 minutes is hilarious. Okay.
My last point, though, before we move on,
off-season shit is wild.
On that last point,
Patrick, what'd you say? Pat, what'd you say?
But okay, so when I see recruiting news, it's always so defensive heavy, and it worries me. But that's why I'm excited that we've got this next guy coming up.
Talk about it, Pat.
Is that a Patrick segue?
Pat.
No.
Pat,
I'm
Is
not
that a Patrick segue?
Hallie Pat segues.
No. Listen. This is a little live shop talk here. We need to do more stuff like that. If we're ready to move on, I don't need to be the person to move us on. If you're ready to talk about this guy, let's talk about it. You know what I mean?
Talk, Pat.
Yeah.
Look, I just know he's got 4 really big schools looking at him right now.
This is Caden Durham, by the way. You got to say his name, but go ahead.
Caden Durham, the running back. 4 big schools: LSU, Alabama, OU, and Notre Dame.
Yep.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is a very exciting prospect, and I think we don't know how good our depth is at that position right now, and it's scary to me. I mean, we know who we've got with Barnes and Major and Sawchuk, but we also don't know how good they're going to be for us. We don't know if they're going to be as good as Eric Gray or Kennedy Brooks or these guys we've had in the past. I can make an argument for them to be just as good, but I can make an argument to say, like, hey, we don't know. They could be bad.
I'm really excited anytime I see a running back, like a big time running back on OU's radar, because it may just be how I feel about things and nothing factual related to it. But I always feel like OU is a much more exciting and dangerous team when they have a freaking stud in the backfield, like a DeMarco Murray, like a Adrian Peterson, like a Samaj P. Ryan, just guys like that. I feel so much better about the offense. And yeah, your wide receiver and quarterbacks, your quarterbacks and wide receivers, I should say, are a massive part of your offensive success, especially in this day and age of college football. But man, do I get excited when I know that there is really great talent in that OU backfield. I just feel like OU is a much better team when they have a physical, dynamic run game. And I know that may sound like, well, no duh. Of course they're going to be better with a dynamic run game, right? But that's just the way I feel. I don't know if there's any facts behind that.
No, but I mean, it's all about balance, right? Like if you don't have that run game or you don't have that stud that you can rely on, you're going to be heavily relying on your passing game, and defenses pick that apart. So like, yeah, I think overall this is great that we have this prospect. I hope we snag him. We could always use more support in that room.
Matt Gann?
Let's see if DeMarco Murray can land another guy. Obviously, we've got Caleb Hicks coming in, and I know the running back room is kind of up in the air. I know we've kind of heard from Levy that Marcus Major might be the guy stepping in, even though he didn't really have much of a role last year. I know he was injured as well. But that's the one kind of thin area of the of just not a lot of depth or a lot of experience in the RB room. So if we can continue to land big guys and DeMarco Murray does what DeMarco Murray does, I mean, with his history and his dominance that he has, who wouldn't want to play for a guy and have a coach like that? So hopefully he can land another one for us.
Mark?
Yeah, so I think Levy said that because Marcus is like the elder statesman in the room, right? That's what you do when you've got they were saying all the same things about Eric Gray word for word last year. So I think I'm comfortable going on record and saying we're going to run the ball better next year than we did this past season.
Wow.
With behind Javante Barnes and Gavin Sawchuk and possibly some Hollywood Smothers and Caleb Hicks, like Matt said. I think that those two guys showed us Javante towards the end of the season and Gavin when he was able to get some run in the bowl game that they are both naturally gifted. Javante's he runs like DeMarco Murray to me. And Gavin is his 1 to 10 yards is faster than anyone else on the field. So I'm going to bet on the talent there working out over feeling like we're too thin there. I think that the big thing though is keep stacking these guys. If DeMarco is identifying him, then bring him in. Bring in all of these guys. The best case scenario is you've got a Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon backfield where you can throw them both out there and do a bunch of fun and interesting things with both of them. That's what I would really love to see happen.
Love that.
There was really no better feeling when Baker, Samaje, and Joe were just standing next to each other.
Just a
You're like, what's
oh my god!
Oh, it was so good.
Or they're in the huddle, and you're like, what are they gonna do? And then they go out there, and Samaje's next to him, but Joe's like out wide. Like, what are you doing out there, man?
It's amazing.
Catch it!
It's amazing. God, that team was so much fun. It was so much fun. All right,
CD on the side, on
the
other side.
I know. It was dumb. It was dumb. Hollywood Brown, whatever. Okay, we're not going to do this. So we had some very
long off season though. We will do that.
Yeah, we will do that.
Was that Mark Andrews too?
Yes. God. How did that team not win a national title? Okay. Mike Stoops. That's how. Corey Robertson. There was some serious storms coming through Oklahoma a couple days ago. A couple days ago, and there were some tornadoes that rolled through the state as well. Corey Robertson, he's the defensive lineman on the team. He got his home destroyed by a tornado. We saw some players tweet out that they needed some help for Robertson to help pick up and support him with a GoFundMe page, all sorts of stuff like that. Danny Stutzman is a name that comes to mind, a guy I for sure saw tweeting something out about that. But the team helps him pick up some debris around his home, and you love to see that. I mean, it's a little thing that you see and you think, yeah, obviously they're going to help him do that, but it's good to see teammates lifting up their other teammates. It's nice to see.
Very scary too, because it hit pretty much the east side of Norman, so right near campus is really where it came down to. Obviously, I was texting my parents, making sure they're okay, but I mean, imagine as a college student, maybe a freshman, sophomore, obviously living in the apartments over there, and you got to worry about a potential tornado coming your way. So hopefully everyone was safe and sound, but obviously very tragic that he lost his home. No one ever wants to see that, but tornadoes are nothing to mess with, especially us Oklahoma guys know that. So great to hear, but obviously sad overall. So
I remember being in Norman and living right on Chautauqua, and that was kind of the first time that I was up close with tornadoes. There weren't a lot of them my freshman year, but my sophomore year, I feel like we had a few. And I learned quickly, just follow what Matt Gann does, because he's lived here his entire life. And so if he says, hey, let's kick back and have a beer, we're good. We're gonna watch the clouds and have a great time. And when he says, okay, now it's serious, then we get our butts to whatever our place is. I'm very thankful that Corey Roberson was able to get himself to safety in a way that, hopefully he's okay, his family's okay, anything that is important is still okay. There's a GoFundMe out there for him that has been verified, so check it through the OU football account. That's what I was able to find. So check through that if you're able and willing to give. And thoughts and prayers out to Corey Roberson as they rebuild.
Right. Anybody else on that? We can move on to Deshaun White and Jeffrey Johnson getting drafted to the USFL. We will wait and see what their NFL lives, if they choose to go to the NFL or if they are drafted by the NFL. I don't know. We'll see. I think Deshaun White would be more likely than Jeffrey Johnson. But anybody been paying attention to USFL? Has USFL started or just XFL?
So they had a season last year. USFL did.
They did.
But I didn't pay any attention to it really.
They're definitely coming
these are
back.
probably it's coming back. I actually don't. Did they even play last year, or did they play kind of pre-pandemic like the XFL did? I think that's what it actually was.
I don't remember. Yeah,
I think that's
the fact
what it
that I
is.
can't remember makes it seem probably like they didn't play last year.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Anyway,
So-
great opportunities for those guys.
Yeah,
Make
awesome. Why
money
not?
playing football and get some more tape out there.
Why not?
I'm sure more guys would do that if they had the opportunity.
Yeah.
This is some typical off-season talk, but I do want to get to it because I do think it is important to 20. I mean, it's not important, the rankings, but it's the big picture is important. 24/7 ranked football facilities around the country for college football teams. OU is 14th in the country overall, second in the Big 12 behind Texas, right? They're behind Texas. And then if you fast forward and look at the bigger picture between the SEC schools, OU would rank 10th as of right now.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Which you realize all the work that Thad Turnipseed and they're all doing, like, you know what is going into it and what they're trying to do and going to do. But to know that this is what 10th in the SEC looks like is just wild to me, because seeing what they've done so far, it still looks really good. And it's crazy to think that
it's 14th in the country. So it is good. Like,
Yeah.
it is good.
it is.
It's just like in that conference,
It
a
just
whole
means
different
more.
ballgame.
Just means more.
It just means more.
It does.
And we'll
Yeah.
just take a little bit of that extra money each year and pump it into the system.
Yeah, Mark, I see you. Are you counting?
No, that's just it's funny to me. We just need more, right? It's the same thing with every single part of the program where there's been an honest reassessment of who OU football is and what it needs to be successful at the highest levels, not just successful at the Big 12 level and win one because we're a mainstay in the playoff and we get lucky one year, but actually build a program that is funded correctly, sustained correctly, has facilities that can compete at the highest level, because that's what gets you the best players. And we should be in the conversation for the best players every single time.
Yeah, I agree with that, Matt.
Doesn't surprise me, knowing what I know about SEC schools and all their facilities, but OU has already implemented from the Board of Regents, everyone else, of all the money they're already putting in and the facility upgrades going in. So hopefully over the next few years, as everything gets upgraded and built out with softball, baseball, all the other sports, football, whatever you want to include, or was in that big package that they came out with. Obviously, they know they are very far behind when it comes to SEC caliber facilities and what they need to do to compete year in and year out, not just on a football level, but every single sport, because hint, hint, as I talk about later, there's plenty of other programs that are doing just as well as OU football on an annual basis. So they need to upgrade a lot of different facilities, very much so. So I think over the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, that ranking will go up, but that's not surprising to me at this point.
Patrick?
Yeah, something interesting on that list is Clemson is number 4th. So as Bob Stoops would say, you's got your guy.
Yeah. They know what it takes. And they got a guy, Thad Turnipseed from Alabama, who they have to be number 1, right? Or close to it.
I think they were top. I think it was Oregon, then
Oregon,
A&M, then Alabama.
Okay. Well, then
Oregon's got that Nike money.
So Oregon doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, Oregon doesn't surprise me at all. But yeah, I mean, you know what it's going to take. It's going to take money to be successful in this move. It's going to take money, and guess what? You're going to get more money by joining the SEC. That's part of the business. That's part of the business of college football that we're in right now. So I have nothing but confidence that they're going to do what needs to be done. You saw how the Big 12 was reacting. OSU just released a video, I think yesterday, about how much money they're funneling in to their athletic program. OSU has solid facilities, and they know that they're not even good enough to continue where they're at. So they have to get better. So I think they're improving all around. They're like building a new softball field. They're doing all this stuff. It's
I think like 350 million or something
yeah,
like that is what they
they're doing a ton of stuff. And they just redid their baseball field. Go ahead, Pat.
TCU and Baylor have the money to push into their programs, so they've got to keep up. Otherwise, they're going to be third, fourth.
Yeah. Oklahoma State's now fighting with the private schools, which
No,
like Baylor and TCU have they have a lot of money.
yeah, they do. They have a lot of money. That's to be certain.
On
Yeah,
that
go
point,
ahead.
For all
Go
the
ahead.
for all the shit that we give Mike Gundy and that football program, he's the reason that they've been in the state that they've been in. Like good and bad, but there have been some high highs for that program that are directly because he chose to be there. I think it's going to be bleak moving forward. Because I think he's past his prime and kind of over it and sort of daring them to fire him. Because T. Boone Pickens is gone and no one's there to hold him accountable anymore.
No, I think you're right. By the way, Matt, I saw that horned frog. Some NFL Combine news. Okay, NFL Combine news. Some 7 OU players received official invitations to the Combine. Is this week? I think it already started. Has it already started, or does it start on Wednesday?
It's an Indy, right? It started.
Yeah.
It started
Today.
on Monday.
Started on Monday.
Started
Thank
on
you.
Monday,
Yeah.
and they actually start their like on-field stuff Wednesday when this is dropping.
Gotcha. So here are the guys who have received official invites. It's wide receiver Marvin Mims, tight end Braden Willis, running back Eric Gray, offensive tackles Wanda Morris and Anton Harrison, defensive lineman Jalen Redmond, punter Michael Turk. Apparently Michael Turk had a fantastic showing on Monday. That dude is going to be a punter in the NFL, and he's going to easily make a roster, and he's going to be a 15-year pro because he's good. He's very, very good. So anybody on that list surprise you at all? Not to me. I guess maybe I was a little surprised to see Jalen Redmond, but I don't know. Anybody else feel any certain way about it?
Well, just on Jalen, he wouldn't have surprised us at the beginning of last year.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I think you're right
I think
about
some
that.
of some of that momentum's carrying over for him. But no, besides that, it doesn't really surprise me either.
I think go ahead, whoever was about to talk.
I accidentally hit my mic. So
Okay. I think Marvin Mims has the most to show. I think because he has enough tape that you know what he looks like on tape. It's really going to be about measurables for him and how he performs in, the 40 and the shuttle and all that other stuff. I think for Marvin, it's going to be about what he can put on paper because you already know what you get from the player on the field. It's just going to be about seeing those measurables and those times so people can fit into their mind where he would fit into their offense in terms of how fast he is, strong he is, yada, yada, explosive. Mark?
Yeah, I agree with, they've all got a lot to prove, right? Everyone has that. I think that with Marvin, he's not 6 feet tall. We know he's going to be coming shorter than that. He is listed on the roster at 182 pounds. I'm not sure how big you really want him to be while, also keeping that quickness and acceleration that keeps him great. At the same time, he's going to run in the 4.4s, not the 4.3s, I think. And so he's not exactly an NFL speedster either. I think his best thing is going to be relying on his tape and making sure he catches every single ball that's thrown at him during the combine process and the pro day process. He's not going to toss up a bunch on the bench, and he's not going to be the fastest wide receiver, but he might be the most consistent.
Did I mention Eric Gray when I was reading those guys off?
You did.
Okay. I felt like I just blanked. I couldn't remember if I mentioned him or not. Anyone else on the combine guys? I think Anton Harrison is going to be a guy who is going to perform well. I feel like he's a day 1, day 2 guy for sure. Pat?
No, I was just going to ask, do you guys think Anton Harrison's going to be drafted the highest out of this class?
Out of the guys I just mentioned, I believe
think
so.
That's what I would think.
If he has
I
a good
believe so.
combine. Yeah, because you
Yeah.
can really increase your stock over the next few days. You've seen obviously what happened to Orlando Brown a few years
I was
back.
just
Had
about to
a
mention that.
horrible combine, but then ended up being obviously a Super Bowl winner or first time Super Bowl winner this past year. So it can really make or break your staff. It doesn't define who you are as a player, but can really increase your draft stock. And Anton Harrison could maybe slip into the first round potentially, but depending on his measurables. And I think a lot of the other OU guys can have a lot to prove because obviously the tape this year was not that great for a lot of those guys. So a lot to prove in the combine. Let's see if they can make a difference and where they end up.
One quick one. I think that Braden Willis is very lucky that he got an invitation. He's a probably more late round tight end H-back kind of prospect, but he is going to test well. I think probably the low 4.7s. He's going to push the crap out of that bench. He's going to move pretty well. I don't know. He's not the quickest guy, but you can count on him on the field athletically. He does a lot of the dirty work in the blocking game. And he is going to blow away coaches in the interview process.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think you could see a handful of teams come away from this saying, hey, he's not my top tight end. Like he's not probably in my top 5 tight ends. It's a strong tight end class. But let's get to the 5th, 6th, 7th round. Let's get to day 3 and see what's up.
Take a flyer on him.
I guarantee you he's going to have some favorites in that coaching staff room.
I can agree with that. Anybody else on the combine before we move on? All right, Matt, do you want to do your punishment this week or you want to push it to next?
I'll be as ready as I'll ever be for this. I might as well rip the Band-Aid off and get it going.
Okay, for those of you who don't remember, we had our NFL playoff pick'em. We picked against the spread every single week. Matt Gann got last place out of everybody else. So Matt's punishment is to give us a 5-minute synopsis of
5.
USC's
If I can make it that long.
5-minute synopsis of USC's
No,
recruiting
5.
class. And we want Matt to
We want
let us know.
positives and negatives. We want the whole
Positives,
thing.
negatives,
Yeah.
dive into the 2023 class, Matt. Let
Each
us
of
know.
the players, like
Yeah.
Well, I got some stuff lined up for you guys. I think you'll
Okay.
be utterly
I'm
surprised.
so
All right.
excited for this.
Let me give you some.
Can we
let me give you
put wait? Can we put the clock on?
Yeah, I got
Somebody?
it. I
Sure,
got it.
sure,
All right, ready,
sure.
set. Your time starts now, Matt.
Absolutely. Let me just give you a little bit of context, a little bit of backstory on this University of Southern California team. We got to go back just last year where
I'm so
Heisman
mad.
front runner from OU transfers to USC, puts them on the map because they had not been a relevant program in a long time. But let me tell you, 2 main things that really changed that program: Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. Now,
Jesus Christ.
we have a
God damn
Heisman
it.
winner in Caleb Williams, but that defense every single time lets everyone down. So they end up going 11-3, losing to Utah twice, losing the Pac-12 championship, obviously missing out on the college football playoff. But what they did in the offseason for this recruiting class and utilizing the transfer portal, guys, this is going to blow your mind. And this is a team to watch out for in 2023. Okay, so let me tell you how this is going to go. According to 247 Sports or 24/7 Sports, however you want to call it, they did get the overall rank of number 8. So they did get a top 10 class. That is what Lincoln Riley is good at. We all know that, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Their transfer portal ranking, ranked number 3. They did get some key pickups, so I'm going to dive into that here in just a second, but just want to give you a little bit of an overview because this class shaping up very nicely. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. 21 players signing their letter of intent. They have 2 5-star, 10 4-star, and a couple more 3-stars on the roster coming in. On the 2023 class, they have 10 players on the offensive side.
Pause real fast.
Yes,
real
go
fast,
ahead,
real
Mark.
fast.
Quick question.
You said
Go,
they had 2 5-stars. How many did Oklahoma have?
3.
Oh, 3. That's right. Yeah, but you can't recruit from Oklahoma, bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You
go
tell
ahead,
them,
man.
hey, I just want to say, we're not done yet. We ain't done.
I
We ain't
hate
done
this
here.
so much. It's the worst.
10
I
players,
despise this.
10 players on the offensive side, 11 players on the defensive side. So what it really came down to was offensively, top 10 in the country in pretty much every offensive category that you can imagine, led by Heisman winner Caleb Williams. So really not going to struggle too much on that side of the ball because Lincoln Riley's fantastic mind upstairs, great play caller. Well, that will continue to ride. It's really the defensive side of the ball that USC really needs to make sure they do a much better job of stopping people because they couldn't do it last year. That is for dang sure. So even though they were top 10 in creating turnovers and more possessions during a game, they still gave up quite a bit of yards and touchdowns and points over the year. So just want to hit on a key couple guys that can really change this program around, change it around. So let me get it pulled up here. I am going to start on the offensive side because there's two guys I really want to point out to you. Zachariah Branch, who is from Bishop Gorman. He is a 5-star wide receiver. He was the number 4 nationally ranked, but number 1 in his state of Nevada. He is coming in to add a plethora of wide receiver corps that Caleb Williams can chunk the ball to. They also have another 5-star quarterback who was originally committed to OU, but why would you do that in Malachi Nelson? Why wouldn't you follow the guy who recruited you? So 5-star coming back into Caleb Williams because we all know he's going to get drafted next year, hopefully to the Atlanta Falcons. Mark, I know you're loving it, so we'll see. But they did get another top wide receiver in Mekhi Lemon, who also was an OU, I wouldn't say commit, but on our radar, obviously flipping to USC for 2023. So really 2 guys coming in to add already to that dynamic wide receiver room. Mason, I appreciate the time there. So this guy, they just keep reloading. Offensively, don't have to worry
There's
about
so
these
much
guys.
time left.
Okay?
There's so much.
Let me tell you more about the defensive side of the ball because this is where they didn't create enough pressure and they were just getting dominated in the trenches throughout the entire time. So a couple guys I want to point out. Brandley Shelby from Friendswood, Texas is a 4-star edge. This guy will create a lot of pressure, give them a dynamic guy up front. He is listed at 6'4.5", 235. And let me tell you, with Grinch and that strength and coaching staff, that this guy, he's going to be 6'4", 220 by the end of the year. Let me tell you right now, he's going to absolutely dominate those defensive lines. Another guy in Tackett Curtis, he is a 4-star linebacker from Los Angeles. So, hey, that's what we got to do. We got to create a fence around the LA area. We're not letting any top recruits get out of California. That is for dang sure. We ain't going to let that happen.
It's like the Harry Potter books. We're like in Matt's mind now.
Couple safeties, couple of more edges, more defensive line help to get 2 guys who are
Time.
6'1",
Jesus
6'2".
Christ, stop. Please stop. It's time.
And here we go. The
No,
transfer
he's doing
portal.
great. Keep going. I can't
They
believe
get some
this.
more help on the interior offensive line, which they did struggle to protect Caleb Williams at time, even though he is known for his scrambling ability. Guys, this is the team to look out for in 2023. Look for them to make another run at the college football playoff. Thank you so much for listening.
I hope Oregon destroys them.
That was fantastic, but also
good.
terrible.
Yeah, all right.
Like,
Everybody go around. Everybody go around the room. Say one thing you don't like about USC. Pat, start with you.
Alex Grinch could have the best defensive recruiting class in the nation and still be awful. Still not have a top 20 defense.
Yeah, Mark.
The thing that makes me so mad is that would probably be a good clip for like USC accounts to just drop.
I know.
Hey, you want to get excited about the season? Here's this freaking Oklahoma fan.
Matt probably just did it better than all those mouth breathers out west too.
Go ahead. He did a great job.
Yeah, he did.
I think the thing that makes me most upset is he did a beautiful job while he's wearing an Oklahoma shirt. It's really upsetting. Yeah. It's really, really upsetting.
He just took off a TCU one actually.
Something I hate about USC is just that Lincoln Riley's a scumbag, and I think he's Tebow.
Yeah,
all that stuff. Okay, let's keep with Matt Gann. Matt Gann, we're back with Circle the Wagons. We needed absolute arse whooping from the softball team. I cannot wait to talk about it. The haters were dancing on their grave after they fell to number 2, and they just gotta be sick. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, absolutely. Guys, UCLA was talking trash before the game. They wanted the blood. They were smelling it in the water after OU fell to Ryan Tyson's Baylor Sikkim Bears 4-3 just last week. So
the amount of
knowing
shit that I'm
that
going to give you the next couple of weeks.
UCLA UCLA was going to try to hit us while we were down. And they knew. They were like, hey, I saw a couple of tweets and things that their players were saying, hey, this isn't the team of old. This isn't the same team we've seen. Guys, let me tell you, if anyone watched the game, I saw the highlights, run ruled them, winning 14-0 against the number one team in UCLA. They had no chance whatsoever, led by 2 home runs by Kinsey Hansen, who just came off from injury just a couple of games ago. Absolute bombs. The bats were hot early, and the pitching was absolute. That team had no idea what was coming, and they better ever, never put OU in that light again, because they don't want it coming, and they just got an ass whooping just last week. That's what you shows great coaches. Patty Gasso even said after the game, don't define a by our wins, but by our losses and how we respond. And that's how you absolutely respond, taking over now the number 1 spot in the nation once again. That is OU softball for you. Previously, before that, they beat CS Fullerton 8-0, run ruled them. Beat A&M 8-0, run ruled them. Beat Utah 10-3, and Loyola Marymount 10-1. So this team is finding their rhythm. I think we talked about it earlier. We knew it was just going to be a different team, right? This isn't a team that has one of the greatest players to ever play college softball in Jocelyn Aldo. So they were going to have to find their rhythm, find their bats. The pitching has been just superb. They have a deeper rotating staff now. And now they just got to find the bats, and that just came to life over the past week. So they will continue to play. They have a little bit of a break before they start up again. But don't mess with OU softball. That's the key there.
They did it in California too, right? It was outside of
it was in Palm Springs. Yeah,
Palm Springs. It was in Palm Springs. So
That's right.
UCLA. I don't know if they were talking trash about this, but a lot of people were like, OU only wins these championships because the Women's College World Series is in Oklahoma City every year, and it's like home field advantage and like all of this kind of stuff. Well,
so pathetic.
They went into California and did that to UCLA.
Yeah. I will say our softball fans travel hard as well. I've been to 2 softball games out here, and the stadium's packed with OU fans. So
amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that. Boots on the ground, Pat.
Other women's sports, they're doing just as well. OU's women's gym continues to dominate. They are 11-0. They beat West Virginia 198-195 as they continue their just historic season by so many marks. They will play Florida in Lloyd Noble March 3rd, so here in a couple of days. OU's women's basketball, a little bit of a disappointment. They did have the largest crowd as of recent, with over 10,000 people. The coaches and players were calling for people to come to this game, playing against number 12 Texas, and really just fell flat. Ended up losing 67-45. Just not a good performance. Yeah, just not what you typically have seen from the Lady Sooners this year. Now, again, basketball, you're playing a lot of games, you're traveling, you're kind of bound for one of these performances. So, again, not too harsh of a loss, but they should be able to bounce back as they finish up the regular season and get ready for the Big 12 championship. But they will play K-State at home, hopefully get a rebound win after that Texas loss. Other women's sport is tennis. They are on a 2-game winning streak, being Arkansas and Missouri State. So they improve overall 8-5 as they take on Wichita State coming up. So a lot of good lady programs doing very well to start their seasons. Over on the mid side, just a couple quick updates as a lot of these programs are taking some breaks. That would be golf and tennis. They do have a few weeks or a few week in between. So men's tennis beating Alabama. They are currently in the Blue-Gray Championships in Montgomery, Alabama. So they beat Alabama the first day, but then got 2 back-to-back losses to ranked opponents in Arizona and Middle Tennessee, and they will finish up with Arizona State here in just a few days. Men's baseball, guys, I don't know if you've been watching, right? The counterpart to OU softball, national runners-up from that game the game series against Ole Miss last year, really just off to a very, very slow start. Currently 4-4, losing to Abilene Christian 4-3 late in the 9th, and winning 2 out of 3 against Rider University. They really have to find their identity. The players have moved on. They still have quite a bit of returning starters, but currently have just not found their footing so far this year. So hopefully they can continue that with some of their upcoming games and series. Men's basketball, guys, I know what you guys think, but probably the most disappointing sport that OU really has currently. They're 14-15. They did beat Iowa State 61-50, but they do play ranked Kansas State and TCU to finish off the regular season. Do we think OU finishes 500 or better? What do you guys think?
We
Against
talked
the
about it
final
last
two
week, so you
teams?
should listen.
No.
Yeah, it's
No, they don't. No shot.
a lot of things are gonna have to
Patrick,
change.
you're
with this
awesome,
team.
man.
Yeah, you are awesome, Patrick. I'm really proud of you. But a big disappointment as they continue on. I don't know if they'll make the NIT or not, but we'll have to see.
How do you think they're going to do against TCU?
I mean, another ranked opponent. TCU is top 15 in the country.
Boots on the ground?
So
It's on the ground, baby.
probably going to lose. If we're being honest, I'd put money on TCU to
Then
win.
a game at
those
TCU.
I would have to double check. Not sure if it's at TCU. It's in a few weeks. So I have to play Kansas State first. But that's just my couple quick updates. I appreciate you
Pretty
listening for
manageable
literally
distance,
the last
might
10
be.
minutes. Please go check out my tutorial over USC in a recruiting class, and then start
Not
the
far.
Wagon segment. I appreciate you guys so
Jesus.
much. Thank
Love
you
that.
so much.
Thank you,
You
Matt
did
Gann.
great, Gan.
All right,
You
our
did great.
must watch of
Cheers.
the week. Back with
We're
Ryan
back,
Tyson.
baby. We're only
Let's-
doing 2 episodes today, so it won't be as long as last
Okay.
time. Hey,
I'm gonna
Dan,
hold you
did
to
you
that.
listen? Did you listen to the 20-minute spiel that we did last week?
Yeah,
Of our
I
Much
listened.
Lost segment?
That's for sure. I had to listen to that part.
Yeah,
for sure.
you
I
had
couldn't
to
miss
listen
that.
to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
show.
I don't
What's
even know
one
references.
thing that you remember us saying about it? Not like what happened in the episode, but like an opinion, one opinion.
Yeah, Ryan's a really big fan of Pedro Pascal. That's what I got from it.
I don't
Big
think I-
fan
That's
of
a safe
him.
play. That's a safe
Uh,
play.
Pedro
Yeah.
Pascal, but
Yeah,
I
he
don't
loves
think I
he
ever
loves
said
the
that.
acting. He loves the acting. The characters just fit so perfectly. Maybe not Bella Ramsey. Not a big fan. I'm not sure if her character really fits the
Hey, we're
video
not gonna
game
do this.
adaptation.
Ryan, I can already tell.
I safer play would have been to say the
Yeah.
writer
Yeah.
or the director or something.
That
equally,
definitely would have been
you
this.
know?
This
Ryan, we're
director
not-
always go with director. Okay,
not-
I know
all right.
you lied.
We're not doing it. Okay.
Mason's like, okay, come on.
Let's go.
This was
Let's
already
watch.
the
Let's get it,
longest
baby.
segment last week. Okay, so we're gonna continue with our Last of Us deep dives. If you didn't listen last week, again, we are going through specifically a couple major bullet points of each episode of the Last of Us TV show on HBO, and the boys are watching along. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about our opinions because I think we all think this is a pretty good show, and we all just want to talk about it with each other. And there's not a lot else on TV right now. Also, okay, so episode 4, it's called "Please Hold to My Hand." It's written by Craig Mazin, who's written all of them so far, and directed by Jeremy Webb. So directing, Jeremy Webb did 4 and 5, which is kind of the reason we're doing these two together because they're kind of a pair. They go with each other. So let's start with 4. The plot of this one, again, I'm reading from the wiki because we need to speed this up. So at the end of episode 3, Ellie and Joel have left Frank and Bill's place and from Massachusetts, and it kind of cuts to black. So 4 opens with them in a car traveling through Missouri. So Joel and Ellie, while going through Missouri, are forced to take a city where they're ambushed. Joel kills 2 of the bandits, but a third overpowers him and nearly chokes him to death before Ellie saves him by shooting the man with Frank's pistol that she stole in the last episode. More bandits find the bodies, and their leader, Kathleen, believes Joel and Ellie might be in contact with a man named Henry and orders a manhunt. Joel counsels Ellie about the firefight and gives her the pistol back. Kathleen's second in command, Perry, thinks he found Henry's hideout, but something is growing under the building. Kathleen orders it kept secret until they find Henry. Joel and Ellie break in and then sleep in a high-rise apartment for the night, hoping they can scout a way out of the city because they're currently caught. And then they awaken to find 2 people standing over them, holding them at gunpoint, who we come to learn later is Henry and his younger brother, Sam. And that's where the episode cuts. So, very similar to what I did last week. How close to the game? This one's decently close. They just changed a couple things. So setting wise, this does not take place in Kansas City in the game. It takes place in Pittsburgh. So they've switched that up. And they said that they chose Kansas City because Kansas City, they're filming in Montreal in real life, and Kansas City resembles Montreal, which is why they chose Kansas City, because Pittsburgh is, Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh, and there's not another place that really looks like it with the bridges and everything like that. So they had to pick something a little bit different. Kathleen is a complete made up character in the TV show, so she is not in the game at all. A couple like fun facts is Perry, the second in command, plays Tommy, Joel's brother, in the game. So like voices Tommy in the game. So they brought him back and gave him a different role, but he's also not in the game either.
How lucky
So,
that he's
other-
just such a rugged, handsome man
I
with
know.
a gun.
I know.
Oh my god, that
I
beard.
know. I know. So, but most of it happens. The beats of it are pretty similar. But some of like the dialogue and the setting and the location are different. In the game, you're really just kind of going through Pittsburgh and trying to get through these militia people. They don't really like have a name or a face or anything like that. So I think it's very interesting that they decided to give like the other side kind of a storyline here, on like kind of fighting against Fedra and running a revolution. So this is where I open to you guys. What did you think of the episode?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it added to the story. I know Patrick's probably going to say it sucked, but
I'm really excited for Patrick's take.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I did not see, because I haven't played the game, so I didn't see the end coming. Like I had no idea what was coming. So when that happened and that's your cliffhanger, that was pretty wild. That was pretty nuts.
Mark.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. No, I enjoyed it a lot. I like that after an episode that was so full of Frank and Bill in episode 3, we got back to sort of the Joel and Ellie thing. I mean, when you really think about it, they haven't spent that much time together on screen so far for us to be 4 episodes deep. So it's good that it sort of sticks with them. Man, Ellie having the gun is a very cool. I mean, it's not cool, right? What she has to do there, but you knew it was going to happen when she pulled the gun out. You almost knew it was going to happen when she had it and he told her, go hide behind the wall. And they still, I thought, did a good job of like the uncomfortableness of what that moment and situation is like. They do a good job of acting that out and shooting that scene. So, want to really highlight how well that was done. And then the whole episode, they're just, evading these guys. And someone else go, and then I have one other thing I want to talk about.
Gan, you got something to say?
Yeah, it was a while when I watched it. So as you guys are talking, I'm bringing back. It is probably my favorite episode so far that has come out, just based on, I think, gives you a little bit of everything, right? You see kind of Ellie kind of grow up, mature, because she's got to take on a very kind of pivotal moment in that very beginning scene that Mark was just talking about. But I think as it just progressed, that was kind of more of my thought of how the show was going to be, just more that action packed, running away, trying to avoid not only, the human side, but also the infected as well. So I felt like that gave me more of an aspect of what I was expecting. But overall, I've enjoyed it. But I felt 4 really kind of did it for me from an excitement standpoint, suspense. I mean, it kind of just gave me a little bit of everything on the emotional scale. So that's why I think 4 so far has been my favorite.
Pat, hit me with it. No, you're on mute. The suspense.
I thought it was fine, but if I was playing the video game, I would have just driven around Kansas City and avoided all of that.
No, that's the best point. That's the best point so you don't hear it said until the next episode, but Joel knows that Kansas City is dangerous.
Yes, he does.
And still chooses to just like drive through it. And if you really want to pat pick this, then that's a good pat pick, man.
That's something that like is in the game specifically, and they try to recreate it in the show. I don't think they did as good of a job, but like in the game, you like come to this like highway and it's blocked. and like it's like completely blocked, and they're obviously like diverting these people into like a certain location, and Joel knows it. But we can't go another way, like we have to go this way. And he like looks at it, he's like, fasten your seatbelt, like we have to go this way. So he knows something's coming, and you can tell something's coming. But yeah, I thought that's a good nitpick, Pat.
And then he pulls a Michael Scott and he's like, let's go to the highest place in the city so we can look over it all. And I was like, oh, The Office, we're back.
Great, Patrick. I love that.
I think this was a great Joel and Ellie episode. So like Mark said, we haven't spent a lot of time with them, and you really start to feel like the actors start to really like vibe off each other a lot in this episode and go through some stuff. So MVP.
Ellie.
Yo, I'm gonna go Kathleen because that's the second point I want to make. It really kind of humanizes the militia people when they come across those dead bodies and they're like, "Yo, it's the guys that killed Brian," and they're not Joel and Ellie. They're the enemies to these people, right?
Yep.
And these guys are the bad guys, but you know they have problems too, and they have a society here, and they're trying to make it work their way. And the directors and the show writers, whatever they're doing, they do a good job of humanizing everyone on all sides of these encounters in this situation. So Kathleen MVP, bang.
Mason, you said
I
Ellie.
said Ellie. I just think it's Ellie. She had a really cool moment when she had to pull the gun out.
I'll agree with all of that, Mason.
Matt.
Yeah, I'll triple that just because I think she had a couple iconic moments that were very pivotal to her character and kind of her coming out story of she's now realizing what it actually takes to live in this world outside of the HQ zone. You know, I know she was going to training and the class and all that. QZ, sorry. But she got a real taste of what it's like outside. And I think there was a couple moments, not only in the beginning, but also at the very end, you know, trying to do what she thought was right, but being wrong at, you know, when they woke up. So a lot of pivotal moments for Ellie in this one.
I'm going to give it to the actor who plays Brian, the guy who got killed, because when he's like on the ground and like begging for his life, I was like, oh my God, this dude is like 15. Like he's like an actual kid.
Yeah.
And like, then Joel has to kill him. And it's just like, that shows you how real this world is and how crazy it is. So, okay. Episode 5 picks up right afterward. Called Endure and Survive, written again by Craig Mazin, directed by Jeremy Webb. So episode 5, Henry and Sam, who we find out are the people holding Ellie and Joel at gunpoint, make a tentative truce with Joel and Ellie. Joel wants to part ways, but Henry proposes they escape the city together using underground tunnels that only Henry knows. Joel hesitantly agrees. Henry confesses to Joel he was responsible for the death of Kathleen's brother, turning him over to the Fedra in exchange for medication for Sam's leukemia. We also find out here that Sam is deaf. After escaping through the tunnels, the group is attacked by a sniper from an upper story window. Joel sneaks up and kills him, but finds out he was radioing Kathleen, who arrives with her militia. Basically brings everybody because she finds out that Henry and Sam are there. Before Kathleen can kill Henry, a horde of infected emerge from underground, including a large bloater that beheads Perry and a child clicker that kills Kathleen. After this group escapes to a motel, Sam shows Ellie he was bitten on a leg. The next morning, Sam is infected, attacks Ellie. Henry kills Sam and then turns the gun on himself. The episode ends with Joel and Ellie burying him and setting off on foot, heading west. And then it cuts. So things that are different in the game. Again, same, the characters aren't around. So like Kathleen and Perry aren't there. And the biggest change from the game is one of the final scenes when Sam is telling Ellie that he's infected and he got bit, and she tries to heal him with her blood, which I thought was very emotional. That is not in the game. He never tells her that he was bit. Sam is not deaf in the game. So I thought that was a very interesting decision that they made there to make it a lot more like scary, but also a lot more accessible to a lot of people who are watching this show. And yeah, I would say like those are kind of the main bullet points. There's not like a massive horde of zombies that pops out of nowhere at the end of like this, but that sniper kind of shoot off, like that does happen in the game. So what would you guys think of 5?
Something that so the sign language change, I think, is significant also because it shows that Joel is having to trust people who he doesn't know. Maybe they're scheming against him in secret, right? He is going off the fact. I mean, once they put the guns down, right? He doesn't have to go with Henry.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Henry's plan. He could just say, "No, me and Ellie are going to figure our way out. You're going to figure your way out. You're a kid. You got it, bud." Instead, he doesn't. He trusts him a little bit, and by the end of the episode, is willing to take Henry and Sam with Ellie and himself towards Wisconsin. I mean, a guy that we're seeing, even just 2 episodes ago, wanted nothing to do with Ellie, called her cargo in the last episode, is now broadening his wings and bringing some more chickens into the coop a little bit. And that is just, it's a sign of good character development. I think that already through 4 episodes, he went from throwing kids' bodies in fires to where he's at now. And it makes sense.
Yeah. They're not really rushing it, even though it's only 4 episodes. It doesn't feel rushed. Yeah, I think that's a great point.
He's still a good asshole,
Yeah.
because Pedro's a good asshole.
Yep. I think the end of the episode is just so hard. It's so brutal. And for someone who has no idea what happens in this story, it's almost Game of Thronesy, man. It's just you get attached to these people and then don't get attached because as soon as you pick a favorite, they're dead. And it's wild. It's so crazy. And to make the decision that Henry made at the end of the episode, he's my MVP. I'll just say it right now, to have to do what he did to his brother, who he fought so hard to save and to get out of that situation. And then his only way out he sees out of his misery is to end his own life. Just hard, man.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah, I will say I didn't mention this, but a change in the game is that scene happens where like Sam comes out, attacks Ellie, Henry shoots him, and then like Henry like turns the gun on himself and everyone's like screaming no, and he shoots it and the game cuts to black. Like it completely cuts to black. And then we'll go into the next episode. It happens like 3 months later, but you don't see anything that happens after that like you do in the show. So that's a small change that they did. And yeah, it's really tough. And it kind of links back to like what episode 3 kind of talked about with like purpose and like why we're here and like what we like need to do in this world and like what we have in this world. And like all really that Henry had was his brother. And then he lost him. And so he was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And it's
he made
devastating.
the same decision that Bill did. He made the same decision that Bill
devastating.
did. I lost my purpose.
Yeah.
That's that.
It's
Pat?
devastating.
Pat, I want to know what you think.
Yeah, I guess I wish that they wouldn't kill characters off so quickly. And Henry was also my MVP, Mason.
Oh,
we're just
Pat,
aligned on the MVP.
Pat,
Look at you two.
Yeah, we get each other, man. We get each other.
Exactly.
Matt, anything?
Yeah, I will not second you guys. I'm going to give it to Joel based on what Mark said because I think his character
I haven't
development.
MVP yet.
Mine's going to go to Joel for his character development through the course of the episodes, but I think it really came to life in this one. I also think this was probably the most action-filled, drama-filled episode, especially with the ending and obviously the very end with the battle. I got to give it up to Joel. He's really the MVP that got them out of that situation, and he just continues as an actor. I love Pedro Pascal. I just want to get it out there. I know this is my first time talking about it. He's a fantastic actor. Love him in this show. He's my MVP for the episode.
Mando actually season 3 starts March 1st, so today.
Tomorrow.
So Pedro is about to have the 2 biggest shows on, and he's about to star in the 2 biggest shows on TV. So good for him. Mark?
Yeah, MVP is going to be Ellie. So all the things that you guys said about her growth in episode 4, I thought we saw more of in episode 5. She really takes Sam under her wing more than anything else. I mean, they're the only way they can really communicate is pointing at jokes in the book and writing on his little thing. And by the end of the episode, she's playing a big sister to him. So a lot of growth there. And then seeing the grief that she kind of goes through, you know that it's a changing sort of experience for her. So Ellie, MVP, gangsta.
Yeah, I'm going to second that, but I'm going to specifically give mine to Bella Ramsey. I thought she knocked it out of the park this episode. I thought she was really, really great. And that whole scene with her trying to cut herself with the blood and trying to heal him, like you could feel that. And then like the ending when Henry shoots himself and the camera just like sits on her face for like 3 seconds, like, and you can really see like this effect that this is having on her and like living through this. Just really, really special acting there. So give it up to her. All right, that's it. I'm done.
Love it. Let us know down in the comments if you're watching The Last of Us, what episode you like the most. Comment along with us. We love to hear from you guys. Read every single comment that we got. Our MVPs, PGP MVPs of the week. We'll start with Patrick. Patrick, who you got, brother?
Yeah, just not much going on. So my LVP, I found this fun fact this week. Is Paxton Lynch is the first quarterback to get benched in the NFL, XFL, USFL, and CFL. That's rough, man.
That's a lot.
Silver lining, I guess, to be benched in all those, that means you had to play in all those. So
right. That's an accomplishment in itself, too.
Cash a check.
Yeah.
Buy all those.
Cash and checks. Matt Gann.
Yeah, like Patrick said, very slow week all around. I'll give my loser MVP to Twitter because Mark accounts got hacked and still hasn't got it back. So still working on that. So speaking of which,
incredible.
Mark.
Incredible.
Do it.
What
Mark.
a move.
Mark is so mad.
No, it's okay. We need to bring more attention to this. So, everyone, my loser VP is Twitter, specifically Twitter support. And I need you, if you've made it all the way to the end of this podcast, you're a certified program guy or gal.
Absolutely.
I need you to go to Twitter and at Twitter support and talk to them about the fact that at program guy Mark has been taken over by some fake NFT loser. That, look, it's one thing if you're into NFTs and you use the little like hexagon, right? His is fake. It's a circle that looks like a hexagon. Click on it. This dude, and they haven't done anything about it. Like, they haven't gotten back to me. I got an initial ticket response and then nothing else. And guys, you want these spicy takes, Twitter's where you're going to get them.
Yeah.
Right. You want me to feel informed when I'm telling you stuff on the podcast. Twitter's where I get informed. So please, if you're a program guy or gal, reach out on my behalf. The guys aren't asking you to, but I am. Reach out at program guy Mark needs to get his account back. Help me out.
I just don't. They're not doing anything with your account either, which is also frustrating. There's no troll job going on. There's nothing happening. It's like that Dane Cook special when he like talks about doing a B&E and he just stole a remote control and left. You know?
Okay, that is a good one.
It's ridiculous. Nothing's
anyways.
happening.
Yeah, I'm going to switch mine MVP to Mark's employment. They have never gotten so much production out of the last week out of Mark. So MVP to Mark's workplace.
That was very good. That was very
No.
Okay.
I didn't say
Ryan.
where it was.
Ryan.
Matt, you want to start? We can start,
yeah.
man.
Okay.
We
So
can
I'm actually gonna give my MVP to Matt. Because he allowed my fiance and I to park at his apartment to go to a concert on Saturday, and that was very, very nice of him. So,
Oh, nice.
Man,
What concert, Ryan?
that is not the direction I thought you were going. So thank
I
you.
went
Mason,
to
we've probably never heard of it.
I went to
Hard
Turnpike
Rock.
Troubadours.
Heard Turnpike, baby.
Turnpike.
Love
Yeah.
Turnpike. Love
Yeah.
Turnpike Troubadours, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. My MVP of the week is the Boston Bruins. Through 59 games, the Boston Bruins boast a record of 46 wins, 8 overtime wins, and 5 losses for a total of 97 points. They captured if they capture another 36 points in their last 23 games, they break the NHL record for most points in a single campaign. Need 17 wins to break the NHL record for wins in a season at 62. They're 10 points away from matching last year's total for points in a season that they earned with 7 weeks left to play in the regular season. Boston Bruins are an absolute wagon in the NHL, but as some people may know, I guarantee you Matt knows, the President's Trophy for the best record in the NHL is a curse. No team in a long time has won the Stanley Cup if they win the President's Trophy during the regular season. So could be good, could be bad for the Bruins. Regardless, they're a record-setting team. Boston Bruins, my MVPs of the week. Let us know down below in the comments who your MVP of the week is. We appreciate you watching this week. Episode number 60 is in the books. Thank you so much for joining us. You can follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, our Instagram, Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, that you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, trying to hit 1,500 subs. We will see you all next week. Appreciate you for tuning in this week. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.